we'd looked at importing contracts and get it Sam reading all those dates. I was don't know if we'd had anything simplified for putting like maybe a Google form sheet that's a set thing and set that so my VA or admin or whatever could take the contract, fill anything in, because like some of the dates are 10 days for mutual acceptance. I mean, with holidays and that, if they just filled those in as and have that import easier, because then it doesn't have to read an actual contract.
Read the entire thing. So I am working with Melanie Wood right now. She's on one of the co-pilot students, and I'm working through adding, and I don't have it ready for you guys to show yet, but working on adding landing pages for listings and transactions. So you could do the exact same thing as a Google form, but it's more linked with Sam's information. So you can pick menu choices and stuff like that from the landing page. It would be a landing page where you go to, you could put in whatever basic fields that you want to fill out. It could immediately create the property if the property's not there, create the listing, and then also fill in the information for any of the fields that you've put into the form.
Okay.
So would that give you what you want?
It sounds like it. Yeah. I was just kind of brainstorming with it.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. It's just instead of having to rely on Google's forms, the challenge with Google Forms is just integrating with it is a challenge to make it customizable, where with our landing pages, we already have it integrated. Mm-hmm. We just don't really have it set up for sending the information to the listing and transaction piece yet. And that's what I'm working on right now is being able to search the property address. Do we already have the address? Adding in the owners, adding in the party members. There's several pieces to that, and making sure that we, or at least try my best. That's what I'm actually running into right now. It's creating duplicates of certain things, and I've got to get in there and make sure that it's not doing that process of it searches it before it adds it.
Yeah, I was thinking even just a simple form, so it's a set form and layout, so that if they went in and edited the dates on something, and even if print PDF of that and import that.
Sure.
Just so it'd be easy to read or something. So
yeah, if you would like to give me kind of a list of what fields you think would be most useful, I'll make sure that they're all in there.
Okay.
My challenge has been placement and making sure the validity of everything. There's a lot of different fields. Where do I put everything, and how do I still make it simple to fill out? So
yeah, is this like
a form? Even thinking dates, so it's because we've got our contracts are different between Oregon and Washington. So
doing you have to make a separate landing page for Oregon versus Washington. In that case, probably.
Is the concept to have like one page that is kind of like includes all the key information, and then it goes and populates where it needs to in SAM?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm
thinking.
There's two parts to this. Number one is the landing page itself, because people want to just be able to kind of go through and do it. I really want AI just to let you upload a document and go through it. My problem that I've in doing that, for some of your contracts, which are huge, I mean, 12 pages or so of documents, and it's reading through things, and at times it's grabbing the wrong date fields for things that are on a different page or whatever. So even though it's smart, I've got to be able to include exclusions or say, look at this particular area on page whatever, or have it draw out where you want to look for this certain date field or this signature. Do I have the initials? Is this the correct form number at the bottom right? Doing some compliance things as well with it. So I am working through both of those. My kind of hope was I could take a a landing page, take the document and just upload it either from a listing record or a landing page record, and it just fill things in. But I've kind of already done that with my intake form, where with an intake form you can select a PDF file or whatever. Let me go to compliance documents. So I could select a form like Emily's intake form, and what that does is it has a bunch of handwritten content on it. I really ought to show what that is, and I'm not sure that I don't think I've got a view, but let me see. Downloads, compliance, Emily's. So one of our other users, this is her this is her intake form. She has, and let me zoom in on that a little bit. So she's taken, and this is not actually her form. This is actually, or is it? Maybe. What this is, handwritten example of an intake form. Well, we've got it set up so that AI can read this, and then it takes this information. We've set up custom fields inside of SAM, inside of a tab in the contact record, and it puts all these fields right in automatically for her. So that is working on a single page, but whenever I'm putting in a larger contract document, I'm getting mixtures of correct and incorrect fields. And I'm just trying to figure out a good way to make it so that it always gets it accurate. But that works right now as far as an intake form. If you guys have some kind of intake form, you take a picture of it, let it read it in, it does quite well.
And just had the thought too that might have to work with you, creating a routine that basically just prompts for all those fields to be filled out.
Yeah, I mean, that's a checklist is really what it is at that point. Is if you want to set up, and that's something that we were just talking about, where if you go into your listings, let's say I go into my properties, I go into a listing area, go into the actual listing itself. In your checklists, you can set up different types of pre-set up things for checklists. So I could come in here and say, well, add my checklist group for new data entry or new listing group. And it just has an entire list of all the different fields you want to make sure get filled in. That would work right now as it stands.
Yeah, that might be simpler and quicker.
So, I mean, it's just a matter of creating all the checklist fields that you want it to fill in, and then assign those to a group, and then it just automatically loads that entire group. So if I say here inside my loop, say I've got new listing, it goes ahead and adds in all the pieces to it. I want to make sure I get my status set up. I want to make sure I verify my price. I want to make sure that I have my listing disclosure. If I come here and add a listing disclosure, it goes from red tagged to residential listing disclosure. It will go ahead and pre-tag it for you and stick it in here. And then at that point, that document now is in there as a disclosure. Now we have compliance pieces in there. It can mark it as being compliant and turn it green as well. But right now, it's getting those in there as checklist items is what you're asking for, and that's already all there.
Awesome.
That's kind of what we're doing now. Is we're using the field validation in the routine for new listings or under contract. So you don't have to go from field to field to figure out where it is. It just pops up and you enter the data, and there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That was the whole goal of checklist, was just making it simple for whoever's doing the data entry.
Because
Yeah.
you can't remember, was that in the transaction or was that in the listing or was that, you just get a little, especially if you're new at it. That way, when it's in the field validation, it's just easy.
Yeah.
I did the same thing with the statuses and the checklist. I added it to the routine, and now I don't have to go through all the tabs to make sure all the information was filled. In the form upload, the other service I was using before I moved over to SAM, they did train an AI to read the contracts, but the way they got it done was the AI was told by line item. So on the California contracts, we have, purchase prices, line item, number 2, GA, right? But the problem with that was twice a year we had to update the AI because our contracts get updated 2 times a year here.
Yeah, that's my biggest worry, is just the maintenance of that thing is going to get nasty after a while. But I'm open to ideas. Don't get me wrong. If you guys have ideas, that's one that, and just the fact that, California has however many different forms, and then I have to go to each state.
That sounds like a nightmare to me.
Yes, it is. And that's what I'm hoping to get rid of.